Have you ever wished you could live forever? It is a common theme in anime, movies, and literature. The dream of absolute biological immortality. If we had an infinite amount of time, we could do everything we ever wanted without the looming fear of running out of clock. We could learn every language, master every instrument, and travel to every single corner of the globe. But from a biological standpoint, would immortality actually be a good thing? Or is death a vital, necessary component of life? Today, we are going to dive into the profound scientific mystery of our own mortality. We will explore what aging actually is on a cellular level, why our body's metabolism is inextricably linked to our lifespan, and why, as strange as it might sound, death is actually a highly sophisticated evolutionary feature that we develop to ensure our survival. To understand why we have to die, we first need to look at why we age. Biologically speaking, aging is the gradual decline of our physiological functions, but the exact underlying causes remain one of science's greatest puzzles. One leading explanation focuses on a structure called the telomere. Inside our cells, our genetic material is packed into chromosomes. At the ends of these chromosomes are protective caps called telomeres. Every time a cell divides to repair or regenerate tissue, these telomeres get a little bit shorter. Eventually, after a certain number of divisions, a threshold known in science as the Hayflick limit, the telomeres become too short and the cell can no longer divide. It is almost like a ticket book for life, where each cell division tears off a ticket until there are none left. Another prominent theory is the accumulation of DNA damage. Over our lifetimes, our DNA constantly suffers minor errors and lesions from environmental stressors. While our bodies have incredible repair mechanisms, they are not perfect. Over decades, these tiny errors accumulate, eventually disrupting vital cellular functions, leading to what we observe as aging. So, what drives these biological clocks? The answer lies in our metabolism. Metabolism is the sum of all chemical reactions occurring inside our bodies to keep us alive. We take in food and oxygen, and through cellular respiration, our cells burn these nutrients to produce energy. This energy powers everything we do, from thinking to walking. However, this energy production comes with a biological cost. The very chemical reactions that sustain us also produce cellular wear and tear. This is why metabolism and aging are so closely linked. The more metabolic activity a body undergoes, the faster it tends to age. We can see this correlation even in the differences between human sexes. Statistically, women tend to have a longer average life expectancy than men. While there are social and genetic factors at play, biologists point to differences in basal metabolic rates. On average, men have a higher basal metabolic rate compared to women. Because male bodies run at a slightly higher chemical speed, they accumulate cellular wear and tear faster, contributing to a shorter average lifespan. This metabolic rule becomes even more fascinating when we compare different animal species. Have you ever wondered why a tiny mouse lives for only a few years, while a giant elephant can live for nearly a century? It all comes down to size, surface area, and heat retention. Imagine a large teapot filled with boiling water, and a tiny cup filled with the same hot water. Which one cools down faster? Obviously the tiny cup. Because smaller objects have a higher surface area to volume ratio, they lose heat much faster than larger, bulkier objects. The exact same physics apply to animals. A tiny mouse loses body heat incredibly fast compared to a massive elephant. To keep its body temperature stable and stay alive, the mouse has to work much harder. Its heart must pump at a frantic pace, and its metabolism has to run at maximum speed. On the other hand, a massive elephant retains heat beautifully, meaning its heart can beat slowly, and its metabolism can run at a relaxed pace. Because of these metabolic differences, the speed of an animal's life is directly reflected in its heart rate. Take the Etruscan shrew, one of the smallest mammals on Earth. It is only about 4 centimeters long, but its heart beats at an astonishing 1,000 to 1,500 times per minute. Because its metabolism runs at such a frantic, constant blur, its average lifespan is only about 15 months to 2 years. Now, compare that to the blue whale, the largest animal on the planet. A blue whale's heart is the size of a small car, yet it beats only a few times per minute. Thanks to this slow-motion metabolism, blue whales can live for 90 years or more. When scientists plotted these different lifespans against heart rates across the mammalian kingdom, they made a discovery. If you calculate the total number of heartbeats a mammal gets from birth to death, the number is remarkably constant. Whether it is a fast-living shrew, a medium-sized cat, or a slow-plodding elephant, almost every mammal gets roughly 1 to 1.5 billion heartbeats in its lifetime. The shrew simply burns through its billion beats in a year and a half, while the elephant stretches those same beats over 7 decades. Now, you might be wondering, what about us? If humans followed this exact same rule, our lifespan would be much shorter. But we are a massive, incredible statistical anomaly. Humans easily exceed 2 to 3 billion heartbeats in a lifetime. Because of modern sanitation, medicine, clean drinking water, and safer environments, we have managed to biologically bypass the strict limits nature set for us. Yet, even with these advancements, we still cannot escape the ultimate biological boundary of aging. This brings us to the deepest question of all. Why did evolution allow aging and death to exist in the first place? If natural selection favors survival, why didn't we evolve to be immortal? To find the answer, we have to look back at the history of our planet. For the first 2 billion years after life emerged on Earth, there was no such thing as programmed death or aging. The earliest organisms, like bacteria and single-celled microbes, did not age. An E. coli bacterium simply grows, divides into 2 identical clones, and continues living. Barring external accidents like starvation or extreme environmental changes, these simple organisms are essentially immortal. But as life evolved to become larger and more complex, organisms developed a brand new way to reproduce: sexual reproduction. Instead of a single cell cloning itself, 2 parents combined their genetic material to create a genetically unique offspring. This was an incredible evolutionary game changer. Cloning produces identical organisms, meaning if the environment changes, say a sudden ice age or a deadly new virus emerges, the entire population might perish because they share the same weaknesses. But with sexual reproduction, every offspring is slightly different. Some might be more resilient to the cold, while others might have faster reflexes. This genetic diversity dramatically increased the species' chances of surviving environmental catastrophes. However, combining genes came with a catch. Over a long life, an organism's DNA inevitably accumulates damage and mutations from daily metabolic wear. If sexually reproducing organisms lived forever, they would pass down increasingly damaged and mutated DNA to their offspring. Furthermore, immortal, damaged parents would continue breeding, slowly pooling genetic errors into the entire population. Eventually, the species' collective genome would degrade, leading to inevitable extinction. To prevent this genetic collapse, nature introduced a brilliant solution: programmed death. By hard-coding a lifespan into our biology, evolution created a system where older individuals, whose DNA has accumulated wear and tear, eventually exit the stage. This prevents them from passing on damaged genetic material, clearing out resources for younger, healthier, and genetically diverse generations. So, why do we have to die? We die because we are complex, evolving creatures. Death is not a biological mistake or a cruel oversight of nature. It is a vital program that we developed to protect our species. By sacrificing the individual to a limited lifespan, biology ensures that the species as a whole can continue to adapt, evolve, and survive in an ever-changing world. Our mortality is the price we pay for the incredible complexity and diversity of life on Earth. Every breath we take and every beat of our heart is a precious part of that grand evolutionary design. Thank you for watching. If you found this deep dive into biology interesting, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel for more scientific explorations. Until next time, make every heartbeat count.